In this video, I'm going to share with you a very brief story about how I was able to make my first real estate investment at the age of 26, and at the time, my salary was 40,000 naira in a month. Emphasis on 40,000 naira in a month. So in this video, I'm going to share with you how I was able to do that, and this is not going to be a motivational conversation. Of course, it will inspire you, whoever you are, no matter what age you are. But most importantly, I'm going to be sharing specific strategies that helped me in being able to achieve this feat. It may not be a big deal for a lot of persons, but from where I was coming from, it definitely was a big deal. And I know that a number of you may identify with that kind of reality. So do make sure you watch to the very end, because you're going to learn lessons from this particular video, particularly if you are yet to make your first real estate investment, or if you have made your first real estate investment and it's taking you a long time to be able to make the second one. This video will definitely help you. My name is Raymond Ijoma, and I am the lawyer that loves real estate. Or if you like the real estate entrepreneur, there's this law and real estate as a tool in building wealth for myself and my clients, and I believe that is you. So do subscribe to the channel, like the video, drop a comment, and be a part of this family, because right here we are building wealth using real estate. So let's get right into the conversation. Just before then, this video is brought to you by Fortreal Rei Ltd, real estate company right here in the very city of Abuja. And as a company, we bring you the absolute best of real estate here in Abuja. So very first thing I need to make you understand about my being able to invest in real estate at the age of 26, even though my salary was 40,000 naira. First, I need you to maybe have a bit of an idea from a very, very humble background. And by that, I'm saying that things were not rosy, everything wasn't fine. And I haven't spent 5 years law school, 1 year, 5 years university, 1 year law school. It was only natural for me to begin to take responsibility for my own life immediately after my NYC, and of course after my schooling, right? So the last money that my parents gave to me at the time was 2,000 naira plus, and that was to support my transport going for NYC, and that has been the last money till date. So really and truly, I was on my own, at the time I left NYC. But shortly after then, I was able to do this, and how I was able to do that was, first, I had a very, very strict savings culture. I would naturally trek. I used to trek about 5 kilometers to and fro every day, just to be able to save 50 naira, 100 naira, as the case may be, depending on the day, depending on the route and all of that, or a number of other things in between, so that I'm able to save that 50 naira, 100 naira at the time. So my savings culture was strict. I was that person that would leave food, cook a meal, the soup, and use it for 5 days, right? So all of that was so that I'm able to save up to a particular target, because I already made up my mind I was going to work for 2 years, right? So I had a very, very serious savings culture. I won't be able to go into too much details because this video has to be very brief, right? Second thing was that I already was also learning a lot about finance. At the time, I already began to understand the intricacies about finance. Of course, I was saving money I was saving money in Pennywise, saving money in NBA Forex, which of course I lost at the time as well, right? Story for another day. But I was learning a lot about finance, and one book that shaped my life in that regard is Secret of the Millionaire Mind. I learned a lot about finance, and then in the book, a lot was talked about real estate. There's no financial conversation, investment conversation, sustainable wealth building that the conversation will not somehow lead towards real estate, or real estate wouldn't be in the conversation. So it was only natural that every finance book I picked, or every finance article I read, or every finance audio visual material that I consumed, real estate was a part of the conversation. So either ways, I already was educating my mind to becoming financially literate as it relates to finance and investment. The third thing that helped me was my circle of friends. I had my age-mate circle of friends, and I also had people who were 10 years, 15 years older than I am, or I was at the time. And these people were top people in their field already. For whatever reason, I don't know how I got into their circle, but maybe because of circle value in me, whatever service, I am somebody that naturally would love to serve, right? So somehow I got into their circle, and most of the conversations were a lot about thinking forward, investing. And for whatever reason, a conversation happened that I stumbled upon, and then it was about real estate investment, or an opportunity that about real estate investment that we should put our hands into. And that's how small boy like me at the time also felt like I could do it. Remember, I said that I had a savings already, or I've been saving money or otherwise. So the opportunity came and met money in my pocket or in my savings account, and I had to withdraw. And that was how I was able to put money in there based on the circle of people I was already dealing with or rolling with at the time. Number four, I already made up my mind to invest in real estate. Of course, I was afraid. It was my very first real estate investment. It was a savings that I did not want to lose. So it came with a lot of fear. But at the end of the day, I had also personally made up my mind that I was going to invest in real estate because I had read about finance, and everything almost taught me or showed me about real estate. So, as somebody who was running away from poverty, it was only natural for me to run into what will save me from poverty. And I knew real estate could do that for me. So, it wasn't hard for me to decide to take my savings and be able to invest it into real estate. Number five, I wasn't 100% dependent on my salary. As a young person, I was trying to be really entrepreneurial, so I could lay my hands here and there and be able to do certain things that will help me get that another 20K, 40K, 30K here and there, right? In fact, it was about that time that I did, or I took a major risk on my career to be able to do something independent of my workplace that got me 150,000, which was my first six figures at the time, right? So altogether, I was putting my hands here and there legitimately, of course, to be able to gather extra money in a way that I was saving almost 70-80% of my salary, and then spending a little of it, and then keeping all of the money. So yes, being able to do that as well really helped in making this work. Number six, of course, like I said earlier, I was afraid. I really wanted to procrastinate, but I chose not to because where I was coming from, the poverty I was running away from, was really chasing me enough that I had found opportunities in real estate to run away or finally escape from poverty. And it was only natural for me to decide not to procrastinate. So at that point, even though I was afraid, I was willing to face my fear and take the risk of being able to invest in real estate. Because at the end of the day, two things will either happen. Either I lose the investment, or I make good money from the investment. And as a positive person, it was only natural for me to think positively about the investment turning out to be good. And eventually it did, because less than a year afterwards, I sold it and made over 100% returns on it. So, in other words, I was afraid, but I chose to use my faith to conquer my fear and consider the positive side of the story, which eventually was what it turned out to be. And of course, if it had become a bad experience, I only learn lessons and move on. And number seven, which is the final point I have to share with you here, is the fact that I already knew about the business somehow. I was lucky to serve in a law firm or work in a law firm after my NYSC. I worked with a legal practitioner who was my boss at the time, a very good boss, who was almost 70-80% into property transactions as a lawyer, right? So I already knew about this business from the legal part of it. And yes, part of where I drew my practical inspiration about investing in real estate was from one of my boss's clients. He was somebody who literally bought properties and sold almost every 3 months. You see him working, buy a property for 30 million, 3 months after he comes into the office, and he's selling it for 40, 50 million. And I was always wowed at his the strides he was making investing in real estate. And looking around, driving around one day, my boss was just pointing at so many houses. I was the one that bought this for him. He's the owner of that. And that really blew my mind. So practically, I had somebody who I saw was doing real estate in a way that I really wanted to do. So I told myself right there and then that I did not want to be sitting on this chair writing or signing documents as a lawyer for demand selling real estate. and buying real estate. I wanted to be the person buying and selling real estate so that I am not the guy sitting over here, because I could see the kind of money he was making from real estate, right? So that was one practical inspiration I had that made me really decide to consider investing in real estate, even though I was afraid and I was ready to procrastinate. So at the end of the day, number seven, which is the fact that I had some form of inside experience. So I really did not need a lot of persons to hold my hands, right? Because I was already somewhat in the business, sort of, just that I wasn't really involved, right? So I had that knowledge, practical knowledge about how real estate works, right? So for you, you may not have that kind of opportunity that I had, but you can work with the right people. In other words, you need to look out for a broker, you need to look out for a realtor, you need to look out for somebody that can hold your hand, and you can draw inspiration from beyond inspiration to somebody that knows what he or she is doing in a way that the person can be a guide to you. If you find such a person, hold the person tight, because with that person you can be able to build wealth. Because real estate is a serious game, and if you play it right, you will be able to build wealth for yourself. There's no wealthy man. I've put this out there. Nobody has been able to prove me wrong. There's no wealthy man out there that is somehow not directly or actively or passively or indirectly invested or in the business of real estate. In other words, it means that if you want to be wealthy yourself, one way or another, actively, passively, directly, indirectly, you have to be involved in real estate one way or another. So if you find such a person, do make sure that you hold the person tight. And if you find me worthy to hold your hand as you journey towards building wealth through real estate, I definitely will be honored to serve in that regard. And with that said, if you're ready to reach out to me, the Fortreal brand, so that we're able to help you, so that we're able to hold your hand, we're able to um, play a role in being a part of your financial success story while you consider real estate investment, then the number to reach out to is definitely on your screen. Again, my name is Raymond Ijoma, and I am the lawyer that loves real estate. If you like real estate entrepreneur, that is law and real estate as a tool in building wealth for myself and my clients, and I hope that I am able to play that important role in your life. This was brought to you by Fortreal Rei Ltd again, and as a company, we bring you the absolute best of real estate. Do consider subscribing to this channel, like this video, turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss out on important opportunities that we share on this channel. And beyond the opportunities, you don't want to miss out on our educative content as well. So I hope that you subscribe, and again, the number to reach out to is on your screen. I am happy, myself and my entire team were happy to serve you and be a part of this great journey for you.